back to the pod. Dear Queer Millennial with Dr. Nate. That's me. I am exhausted. And look, if you are here for something good and high quality, you're in the wrong place. We're low budget. We embrace imperfection here. What you will get is vulnerability and the opportunity to watch someone spiral live on the internet, which I suppose is like most of the content on the internet these days. But hey, listen. Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 2 to Dear Queer Millennial. I put up the first episode and to crickets, which, hey, you know what? We love crickets. We love being acknowledged by the insect community. Now, I would like for people of my species to listen to the pod, but, hey, we'll get there. It's, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I did change the angle on the video because I'm like doing like YouTube and I'm doing like Spotify because we are what? A versatile queen. Thank you very much. But by the way, that's the only thing versatile about me. We're not going to get into that. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. But I am changing the angle of the video for those watching on YouTube because, well, I look terrible vertically. I look terrible. That like activated angles of my face that I'm pretty sure I saw in like Wes Craven movies in the early 90s. Like that, nobody should see that. Nobody should be subjected to my those angles. So we're trying a different angle, and is it working? Are your eyes bleeding? So if not, then yes, okay. And if your eyes are bleeding, go to the emergency room, please. So this, as I said, the second episode. I'm really glad to hear you're here. I'm glad that the first episode was really chaotic, but I think I got the rhythm. I think I figured it out, what I'm trying to do. I added a little structure to this episode, okay? Because the last thing I want you to do is to think that I'm unprepared, because I am. But we're listen. So the first segment we're gonna do is my spiral. This is just an opportunity for me to take your time and spiral about something. And what do I want to talk about? Well, look. So my house is being renovated right now. And, my husband is incredible. He is arranging everything. He's coordinating everything. He is the logistics master. Okay. All I got to do is just live in the chaos for, I don't know. What is it? How long does it take to renovate 2 bathrooms? I don't know. They're almost done. So for the last 2.5 weeks, we have had 1 toilet in a 2-toilet household. And I'm sorry. Call it rich, call it luxury if you want to, but I went to college. I worked really, really hard. I'm still working hard. I need 2 toilets in my house. That's it. That's all. So we were down to 1 toilet. They took the toilet out of the guest bathroom, which is where we had been using for primarily, the whole time they've been renovating the master bathroom, and they put it back. After us begging and pleading, dear God, I cannot go to Starbucks to use the bathroom one more time. It is costing me a fortune. Please put the guest bathroom back, that guest toilet back. I need you to put it back. So they did. Okay. And I woke up this morning to go use the bathroom and I step in a puddle of toilet water. Yes. So how's your morning going? Well, I stepped in toilet water first thing. Nothing wakes you up, pulls you out of a dead, groggy sleep than toilet water, stepping in cold toilet water. Okay. So listen, if that is the worst thing that happens to me today, it's all uphill from here. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're saying to yourself, wow, I woke up and it was a pretty bad start or like rough start to the day, but at least I didn't step in toilet water. No, you're doing better than me. Know that you're doing better than Nate. So toilet water, not, what's even worse is like I stood there and I finished using the bathroom and then I flushed the toilet. Like instead of cleaning it up first, I just had to go. Okay. Like I was not awake. Get off my case about it. Okay. So I'm like my toilet. I'm slowly leaking water. Yeah. Okay. So in this, there we are. There, if you're doing better than me. So next week, who knows? Maybe they'll fix it. It's Sunday where if you're, I don't know what day you're listening to this, if you're listening to it at all, but hopefully they come tomorrow and fix it. And until then, I will have to build, like a beaver, I have to build a dam around the toilet and hope to God that, because I don't know how to fix anything in house. Like I don't know how to, like changing a light bulb gives me anxiety. I am so averse to doing basic household maintenance. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Nate, look it up on YouTube. Let me tell you something. That's a whole other spiral. But YouTube videos for like how to do house stuff, y'all, if you're listening to this, I know that is a big demographic that I am reaching out to. Like the podcast really reaches like DIYers. Listen, if you do DIY videos on YouTube, get to the point. Okay? Or bookmark the sections and timestamp the sections of the information I need to know. I do not want to sit through a 5-minute video of you watching you pick out the proper light bulb or choosing the proper, screwdriver. I just need to know how to do the thing. Like sitting through a YouTube instructional video on how to do household DIY stuff is enough to make you just burn the house down and collect the insurance. Like I can't. Like, I want to change the light bulb. I want to, fix the door handle. Like, I don't need to know how to do surgery. It's like, so I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the patience to do basic DIY stuff. So that's why we pinched my pennies, we pinched our pennies, and we hired professionals, to install a toilet that is now leaking. Now, obviously, things happen. Look, I'm not blaming anybody. It's 2025. We're all stressed out. So maybe the toilet is, it's a new toilet though. Like I just bought that toilet probably 2 years ago. Is that new still? I don't know. But look, so I couldn't fix it myself because I don't know how to do DIY stuff. I have tried and I make it worse. Okay. And then it cost me more money because instead of calling the professional in the first time, calling them in and saying, hey, can you please fix this thing? Now it becomes, hey, I tried to fix this thing. I made it worse. Can you fix my mistake and the original problem? So it's not doing me any good, right? Okay. So now I don't know how to transition. How do you segue? How do you segue between segments? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So as I said, the title of this show is Dear Queer Millennial. It is not an advice show. It is not therapy. It is a place for me to reflect on I'm almost 40. I am thinking about the wild times that we are currently living in and that the times that millennials have lived through, that especially queer millennials have lived through. And I'm thinking I want to talk about stuff. So here's a fictional letter from Brenda in Schenectady. All right, this is fictional. Disclaimer: this is not therapy. This is not advice. This is Nate talking to no one about nothing. Okay. All right. So let's read the first letter from a fictional caller. Dear Dr. Nate, okay, be honest with me. Was I scammed? Because I really thought I'd be rich by now. I'm 33, queer, exhausted, and still checking my bank account like it's a mood ring. I did the stuff. I went to college. I have a career. I go to therapy. I even have a couple side hustles. I'm trying to be grateful, okay? But I'm trying also to manifest financial stability. Where's my passive income? Where's my second property? Hell, where's my first property? Most of my straight peers seem to have houses, kids, a Peloton. Meanwhile, I'm splitting rent with 2 roommates, okay? And, I got an incoming call. I will call you right back. Look, I told you, professionalism, all right? We are the epitome of the entertainment industry here at Dear Queer Millennial with Dr. Nate. All right, anyway, get back to the story. Most of my straight peers seem to have houses, kids, and a Peloton. Meanwhile, I'm splitting with rent with 2 roommates, crying in the Trader Joe's frozen food section and scrolling Zillow like it's porn. Was it a delusion? Or do I still have a chance? Is this capitalism, queer marginalization, or am I just bad with money? I want to believe there's still time, that being queer and not rich isn't a moral failure, but I'm running low on optimism. Can you tell me how to survive this feeling without going full nihilist or applying to grad school again? Waiting for a sign or a grant I don't qualify for. Sincerely, Brenda from Schenectady. Well, Brenda, thank you so much for your timely letter. Okay. And dear queer millennial, dear Brenda, this is I have the same financial stability is something that I, as a millennial, there are a lot of things that give me anxiety, like, I don't know, toilet water in the first thing in the morning, a breeze, like the wind. If the wind is blowing too hard, I'm worried that the shingles are going to blow off my roof. Okay. And so financial stability is like literally top five, if not top three anxieties. Am I going to be able to retire, or am I going to be a corpse working as a greeter at Walmart? Because that's something that's like legitimately possible. Like, financial stability for millennials is a totally different ballgame. And let me tell you something. You ain't gonna get no Dave Ramsey like financial advice from me, because I'm barely keeping it together with my finances. My husband runs our finances because I get too anxious. I like to see the money in the bank. So I won't pay bills, because then it means the money goes out of the bank. And obviously you can't do that, because then you're paying late fees. And let me tell you something, those debt collectors are very aggressive on the phone. Okay. And so my husband manages our money, but I do think it is something to think about as far as financial stability. And the dream that we were, as millennials, were sold, which was go to college, take out student loans, get a job, and then you'll be set. Right. I remember getting advice from my parents about going to college, and like when I was in high school and middle school, and our guidance counselor was like, "Well, Nate, what do you want to major in college? And this is how you become a career-oriented individual." And I'm thinking, yeah, great, I'll do it. And I did it. I have all the degrees, y'all. I have a PhD. I have a master's. I have a bachelor's degree. I have an associate's degree. Okay. And we can go into what college was like later, but the idea, I'd always connected education to financial stability. Now, I know not all people go the college route. I get that. And honestly, I'm jealous. Like, how you got through your 20s without, like crushing debt is pretty incredible. But for those of you who did what they said to do, okay, this is the thing. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Brenda from Schenectady, who went to college. Okay. I think she went to like SUNY Oswego, or she went to Buffalo, University of Buffalo, and she got her degree in what? I don't know. Maybe she's like an English major with a minor in psychology. Okay. So you have a bachelor's degree. Maybe she did a master's in public administration. I don't know. Brenda, like, where are you at? Like, maybe we'll have you on the pod sometime. But you go to college and you think like, this is my golden ticket into the upper middle class. And then you get the degree, you start applying for jobs. And then let me tell you, look, I remember my first job out of college. I will never forget the salary that I made. It was $31,925 a year. I mean, it's such a random number to remember, but I will never forget it. And I remember I went from my associate's, bachelor's, and then straight to my master's, because my bachelor's did nothing for me in terms of preparing me for the workforce. And it was my master's, thank God, that, whatever. But like, I had that first job out of college, and I remember thinking, this money is so low, and it's like the punchline. Like, am I being roasted right now? Like, am I on a Punked? Like, anybody remember Ashton Kutcher Punked? Like, what is going on? Like, when they gave me that offer, and then I had no option but to accept that offer. Because why? Because I had to eat. I needed to make money. I needed to pay bills. Okay. And so I got that first offer after having 6-7 years of education, being told, yeah, this is what you need to do. This is how you get a job. And I have a job, and I got the job, and whatever, but like, and I was grateful for something, but you still, like, there is a sense of like, for real, all that for this? And you go, well, Nate, you didn't major in like chemical engineering or computer science. And so you had a low, you had a job that was not, or like a degree that wasn't wanted by capitalism. Let me tell you something about that. Okay. My master's was in counseling. Of course, I became a therapist. And then my bachelor's degree was in music. I don't want to get into that. Like, that is a whole, like, like horror show of trauma, like a haunted house of trauma that I just do not want to get into. But so yes, okay. Now my degrees, ultimately my master's degree did lead to a job, but like those people who got like engineering degrees and computer science degrees, like good for you. Business degrees, like amazing. I'm so glad that you thought ahead of time to get a job or to get a degree that would lead to a job. But here goes the other side of it. I know a lot of engineers. Okay, I had several friends who were engineers, particularly like petroleum engineering and like oil and gas and all this. And y'all, that is don't let these people fool you. Okay, that industry is just as shaky as anything else. Okay. Now, yes, are their salaries when they're working higher? Sure. Yeah, great. Okay. But I remember seeing a lot of engineers in the unemployment line. And this is not shading y'all. I think you should be more pissed off about it than me, who got a degree in music and counseling. And because you were told, yes, get this job or get this degree, it leads to a job, a well-paying job, and then only to turn around and go, oh, this is a boom or bust economy, okay? And sorry, but you're right behind Brenda, who has her degree in English literature and a minor in psychology, who's also trying to find a job. Same thing for like the computer people. Like, yeah, like programming, y'all, I remember this was not but a couple years ago, where like those coding boot camps were literally like everybody was going to coding boot camps to learn how to computer code. And then ChatGPT came out, and guess what? You are now obsolete. Okay. So, like, what am I trying to say? All I'm saying is, I don't believe, and you will never convince me, that studying something for the sake of a job is like viable. Okay. Now, I guess if you go into like nursing, okay, like the nurses are the ones, I think, in medical industry, if you're going to get a degree and you want a job, like, those seem to be pretty stable jobs. But I will tell you, I've met a lot of nurses who are burned out, exhausted, tired, and ready to set the hospital on fire, quite frankly. So that has its own traumas. And so if I was told that degrees equal financial stability, and I was told, and I think that's a thing that millennials were all told. And if you now are sitting at the other side of this going, I have a boatload of student loan debt, I barely own a house, or I don't own a house at all. And let me tell you something, don't sleep on rural and suburban neighborhoods. That's why I ended up in suburbia. I would much rather be closer to my queer friends in the city, but the interest rate is like, on my house is like too good. Like, what am I supposed to do? I guess it's be the loan, but pay a low interest rate, or be, around friends and paying out the nose. Look, you see where I'm at. You see where my priorities are. So, but owning a home in general is not plausible for a lot of queer millennials. And when I don't own this house, by the way, the bank owns the house, and I am but a lowly tenant until I have the deed in my hand. And we are, but I will say it is a struggle. If I had children, because that is an added expense that and by the way, I just want to say from the first episode, I love kids. I think kids are awesome. Kids are great. I am afraid that I can't provide for children. Okay. And I am scared to death that I would not be able to afford a home, food, and children. So for me, it was one or the other. And I think this is true for a lot of millennials. The millennials that I know, the queer millennials particularly, it is not like we can just magically wave a wand and then, I have a baby. Like, that's not how this works at all. Okay. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure how men are getting babies. Maybe there's that's a guest. We can bring a guest on for that, because I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I know where babies come from. And I know that queer men adopt and do the surrogacy, but like, that's so expensive. Like, having kids is expensive, and I can barely afford myself and my 2 cats and dog, and my husband, who is, by the way, financially independent himself. Like, he has a job, he makes money. Like, he does. Like, we are, we're working it. We've got our side hustles. We're doing everything we can to survive. But like, the thought that you have kids, I mean, you want to talk about a panic attack. You want to talk about feeling anxiety. Like, the thought of like a child depending on me to go to work, like, to pay for them, like, girl, what are you talking about? So we were sold this bill of rights or this bill of goods, let's say, that was like, if you go to college, you can get a good job and you can be financially stable. And then to the kind of thesis of what we're talking about, which is you can retire. And I am obsessed with retirement. I have got to figure, like, I have a guy who, I have like a guy that I talk to about my retirement. It literally is just random. Like, it's a guy like we met at the grocery store. Like, he was in the parking lot playing violin, and I gave him a book and I was like, no, I'm kidding. But like, I think about retirement because I'm going, oh my God, like, how am I supposed to afford living if I retire? And I mean, my whole life I've been told, don't count on Social Security because it's going to be bankrupt by 20, blah, 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 like 2035, 2055, whatever. Like that, and they've been saying that for 20, 30 years, I guess. But, I do think about, like, how will millennials retire? At 40, I have at maximum, maybe 30 more years of good working years left in me. Okay. And I'm supposed to plan for when I'm in my 80s, and I'm trying to live for now. I'm trying to survive the now. Like, tariffs, hello? Do you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to worry about now and worry about then? So, Brenda, what will I say? What do I say to you? Brenda, what I say to you is you have to have a foot in both, I think. Think a little about then, think a little about now. Is it a scam? 100% a scam. Every bit of it is a scam. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everything is a facade. So do what feels right. That's, not illegal, okay? Like this is the thing that I think we don't talk about. There is this belief that there is this guide to life, this manual of a way to live, of a way to survive. Okay. And what it really means is if you stop buying Starbucks and you invest that money in the bank, in the stock market, that's how you're going to be towards financial freedom. And look, and maybe it is. Maybe my problem is that I buy too much Starbucks and that I, maybe I need to stop shopping at Trader Joe's and Costco and impulse buying, Coke Zero, pallets of Coke Zero. Maybe I do. But then here goes the other side of it. And this is the existential point of it all, is like, if I'm living for tomorrow today, when am I living for today? Okay. If I'm not going to Starbucks today because I need something to make this grind worth it, because I want to pretend that I'm worrying about tomorrow, like how do you sustain that? Because this is the thing that those financial people don't tell you, like the Dave Ramseys of the world, and like, where they say budget and, live today like no one else. So tomorrow you can live like no one else, or whatever they say. The thing they don't tell you is like the number of the psychological game that is. And they can say, oh, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I am not a bootstraps type of girl. I can't. There are no bootstraps. I wear clogs. Okay. I wear slip-ons. Like, there are no bootstraps to pull up. I need something to get me through the day, to get me through the next 8-hour work shift or whatever, that said that, and maybe it is that Starbucks. Maybe it is that $7 drink that was made by a stressed out non-binary barista, okay, that gets me through that shift. And sure, could that money maybe be gaining interest in like a high yield savings account? Sure. Yeah, great. Okay, but how much of my mental health do I have to sacrifice to then live like no one else tomorrow, so that I have retirement, so I'm debt free, so I am retire early, all the other things? Okay, like that's the piece they don't talk about. How do you get through the psychological stress of that? Okay, Mr. Ramsey. Okay, so like, now we're on to something. Look. Nothing pisses me off more as a millennial who has fought to survive, as a queer person who has fought to survive, than you just do it. You just do it. And you don't acknowledge the mental game that it takes to get through the workday and live like the Amish, so that you can be a millionaire in your 50s? Okay, great. Good for you, Brenda, that you're in your 50s and you have $1 million, but you have no energy. You're exhausted by 11:30 in the morning, and you hate your coworkers, your life, your husband, everything else. Okay, some of us are just trying to live, Mary. Like we're trying to get through it. So I just cannot get on board with this idea of this bootstraps mentality to get debt free so that you can live be millionaires in your 50s. And I mean, obviously it's about balance. Like the therapist side of me says, Nate, it's about balance. It's about you spend a little, you save a little. Okay, I get that. That's true. But some of us don't live in the middle, Mary. Some of us live in black and white, and some of us need a little of that, a little of this. We're over here, we're over there, we're the other thing. And I think the reason the Dave Ramsey, the financial like stability people, the FIRE people, was it financial independence, retire early people does not resonate with some people is because they fail to acknowledge the psychological game of it all. Y'all aren't talking about how stressed out you are. Y'all aren't talking about how anxious it is to spend a little money or I think about like the deprivation mentality, right? We go into this deprivation mode, this like starvation mode where it's like, if I spend any money, I'm going to be broke. And it's like, girl, you have a $200,000 mutual fund. Like, I think you're going to be okay. Right. And I look at those people and I just think, like, I respect you. I respect that you have what it looks like to be mental discipline. But in my head, I don't know that it's mental discipline. I think maybe you are tortured in other ways because we all are tortured. But I just can't get my head around it. I can't make sense of it. So if I were to, so I can't tell Brenda, stop spending money at Starbucks, girl. Save your money, pinch your pennies. That's your down payment on a house. That's your down payment on a condo. Like, I can't say that because there's so much that I know that goes behind that it seems like, first of all, it's bad advice. And it seems like I'm lying. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to sell you nothing. There is no course. There are no commercials here at the Dear Queer Millennial with Dr. Nate show. Okay. So I have no advice to give you. All I'm doing is acknowledging my reality and potentially your reality, that we are living through late stage capitalism. It is a place that is a horror show. And, sometimes buying a little, what I call a little happy. Okay. Maybe it's a book from Barnes and Noble. Maybe it is a double chocolate chip Frappuccino from Starbucks. Maybe it is, a little Batman action figure. Look, I'm about Hot Wheels. Okay. I buy me Batman Hot Wheels when I go to the grocery store. Because I'm like, if I got to eat whole foods, if I have to eat low carb, if I have to eat, low sugar, fat free, all this other stuff in my cart, and I'm walking past the Hot Wheels at the grocery store, I'm going to get me a Batman Hot Wheels for $1. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I made good decisions about the food I'm going to eat. I'm making bad decisions about the toys I'm collecting. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It has to be about balance. And so I can't sit here and tell you that the key to financial success is just save your money, like sell everything that's not nailed down so that you can pay off your debts, because I don't know. I don't know people who've lived long enough to be like, I am so glad. I actually don't. I've never met anybody who did the like the Dave Ramsey lifestyle and is on the other side of it and went, that was worth it. I don't know anybody that did that. I know lots of people who did, the debt-free lifestyle, but they've never once said it was totally worth it. There's a trauma there. I think there is something where people are saying, yeah, you meet people on the front end, but I've never met anybody on the back end that went, what the key to my success was? What the key to my happiness was? Being debt-free. I don't know anybody that's done that. And maybe you, listener, maybe you're the one lone person who's done that. But as far as the rest of us mere mortals, I don't know. I can't tell you that I know anybody. So what is it? What my ultimate advice, Brenda, dear queer millennial, Brenda, listen, balance. Save a little, spend a little. That's what I can tell you. I don't know. I'm not a financial guru here. I am not I'm not debt free. Girl, please. Are you kidding me? My debt it's crushing me. Like, that's why my posture is so bad. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at me, you're like, why is he shrugging indifferently? My posture is bad because of all the weight of my debt. And it is, I don't have, like, my car's paid off. I don't have a luxurious lifestyle here. Okay. Like, I'm literally paying for food and a place to live. and the student loans that I took out. Like, that's it. There is no extra here. Okay. So don't look at me for financial advice, but that's what I will say. The mental game: spend a little, save a little. That's the mental game of that. I think if I were to make an assertion. All right. So now let's wrap this up. We have our final segment, which is required reading. Listen. This is the segment where I talk about the things I'm currently into. Okay. And what am I currently into? Well, I'm currently into the So True podcast with Caleb Heron. I adore this man. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, if there was a fan club, I'm in it. Sorry, girl. President, vice president, co-president. Like, Caleb Heron, hilarious. He is such an incredible. He's a queer. So, for those who don't know, Caleb Heron is a queer. Matter of fact, let's just pull up his Wikipedia page and we'll talk about who he is, because he is the light of my life currently. Caleb Heron is an American comedian, writer, and actor who did perform stand-up regularly in Chicago until recently relocating to Los Angeles. He was a writer, comedian. He grew up in Brookfield, Missouri. He came out in his life later as gay. He's auditioned for Saturday Night Live. He was a writer on Human Resources, which was a Big Mouth spinoff. He has comedy shows. He has a great, the thing that I'm really into right now is called So True, which is a HeadGum podcast. Love it. He's hilarious. He interviews kind of up and coming people, particularly like queer artists, comedians and actors, things like that. I've seen Caleb for a couple of months, maybe a year and a half. I stumbled on his podcast because he interviews Trixie Mattel, who is also a queer artist that I am obsessed with, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But and I'm just really into what he's doing. I love the authenticity. He's funny. He's sharp. He's funny. So if you're interested, this is a non-paid promo. That is what I'm currently into. I'm listening through the back catalog of podcasts on Caleb Heron. Love him. I watched recently Overcompensating, which is written by Benito Skinner. Available on Amazon Prime currently. I binged the whole thing, and he was on one episode, and he had me screaming, howling, clawing the curtains. Like, I was laughing my ass off. Like, he was hilarious, fabulous. Can't say enough. Check him out. He is really, really funny. So the next thing I'm into is there's a lot of things about gay culture that I love that are, but the thing that I think is our Harvey Milk, y'all, by the way, this is jokes, comedy, humor, queers, like my serious queers, my feminists, take a breath. This is all in good fun. Okay. Take it easy. I can already hear the army of queer people like getting their battle gear on and preparing to go to war. Like, what I'm saying is a cultural mainstay in queer culture is with Katya Zamolodchikova and Trixie Mattel. It is. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. They speak for my generation. Like, if there was a convention or a delegation of queer people that Trump wanted to hear from, they're the head of that delegation. Like, I don't know what to tell you. They represent whatever they want. I'm about. So what am I into right now? Compilations of old episodes, like just clips that are completely unhinged, completely chaotic. I don't even know. It's like my comfort food, y'all. Like, some people rewatch episodes of Office for comfort. I put on episodes of in the background and I meditate. I transcend. I am one with the universe when they are, because it's just, I don't know. I can't even explain it, but that's what I'm into right now. So check it out. There's and what I love is how wild some of the compilations are. And I know, when are we going to get our new season of Are they over? Are they canceled? What's going on? Wow Presents. What are we doing? When is that coming back? Because I've rewatched these episodes over and over again, and even just scenes, compilations. I don't know. And I'm demanding a new season. Where are they at? It just fell off. I know it was on Vice for a while, and then they came back to Wow Presents, and then where did it go? What happened to it? So yeah, I mean, I do watch some of the Bald and Beautiful podcasts. I love that. I love the energy of that. But there was something about a green screen with two drag queens. Like, I don't know what do you want from me? Like what okay, my tastes are refined, and what I want is what I want. So give the people what they want. We want two drag queens, okay, like loose associating in front of a green screen. Like, please. Anyways, listen. Thank you so much for this episode, for tuning into this episode. I hope it was everything you wanted and more. And if it wasn't, well, leave a comment in the suggestion box and we will forget that it's there. And whatever. By the way, this desk is so squeaky. I apologize to my queer folks who have misophonia. I do apologize. Like, I don't know. It's got to be an absolute nightmare for you. But anyways, thanks so much for tuning in for this second episode. If you are interested in asking me a question, don't, because this is nobody should follow this advice. Okay, this is not an advice show, so I'm not giving advice. I'm not giving therapy. Like, leave me alone. Anyway, thanks so much. See you in the next episode.